Welcome to Pinkies and Pinups. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome in, Ryan. Thank you for sharing, hun. Marcy Green, welcome in. Opa, welcome in. It's good to see you all. I see that you guys are back for this. Actually, it's not funny at all about this horrific case. I hope everyone is doing well today. Hope you had a wonderful Saturday. I'm glad you're all here to join me. So today we are going into part 2 of The Devil Lives Within. This story is about Kevin Underwood and his conviction. This is going from, him as a child through what possessed him to behave such a way and for him to commit such an horrific crime. I'm going to start my intro and I will see you guys back in a bit. Testing, 1, 2. Opa, if you can hear me, can you type a 1 in chat? I believe you can, but just in case, I'm always having audio issues. I don't know what the deal is. I even upgraded to like the pro StreamYard. So hopefully it sounds better. How are you doing today, Opa? Get to know. It's good to see you. You're welcome to come up if you like. It won't nearly be as horrific as it was yesterday. I promise. It won't be as bad. Doing good, doing good. That is awesome. So let's go to where I left off yesterday. Let's see. I know I saved it. Oh my gosh, where did I save that video at? Blood Dragon, it's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I'm almost tempted not to play that video, only because it is so horrific. I'll leave it up to you guys. How about that? Because I don't know where I saved it to. I know I did. Get to know. Queen. Oh my gosh. It's good to see you, Queen. Queen, you know what we need to do, Queen? We need to do that little imposter game. I need to play that little imposter game. I finally downloaded it to the desktop. I haven't got to play any COD today. I have been busy. Okay. Hold on 1 second. I'll just do it this way. I believe it's this video. Okay. And it was at 1 it was at 1 something. Right here. I found it. Okay. Let me crunch this down. And make it like share screen. I know it's hard to watch. So if you don't want to watch it, oh, I think I just freaking froze. If you don't want to watch it, I understand. We were at 1 minute 3 seconds, or 1 hour 3 minutes 43 seconds, and it's only an hour and 23. So we only have about 20 minutes left of this video. Excuse me, to get through. Um, yeah, so we are almost done with that. For those of you that were not here yesterday, this is the criminal case for Kevin Ray Underwood, who was born in 1979 and he was convicted of murder from Purcell, Oklahoma. So this man, I actually get to know, I believe, said I kept saying young man because he was a young man at the time that he committed this horrifying offense. It was in no meaning like I was respecting him in any type of way or disrespecting him any type of way. It's just he's still a man. So, and he was a young man to boot. So, the background history is the crime he committed, which the authorities had sought a missing 10-year-old girl. Her name was Jamie Rose Bolin. They had put an Amber Alert out on her. Underwood, who lived in her apartment complex, was arrested on April 17th, 2006. Underwood had admitted to the FBI agents and Oklahoma detectives that he had murdered and attempted to decapitate Miss Bolin, telling them, "Go ahead, just arrest me. She's in there." I chopped her up. After Underwood's confession, Bolin's corpse was stashed in a large plastic container and was recovered from his bedroom closet. Oh, gentleman. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess. Young man, gentleman. Maybe I shouldn't have said a gentleman because he's not a gentleman at all. Purcell Police Chief David Tompkins stated that Bolin's murder was a culmination of Underwood's fantasy to kidnap a person, rape them, torture them, kill them, cut off their head, drain their body of their blood, rape their corpse, eat their corpse, and then dispose of their organs and bones. Underwood was convicted of having bludgeoned Bolin to death, which he did not. He did attempt to, but he did not. According to his, so Wikipedia is actually incorrect. He attempted to, but he did not. He ended up suffocating her in the long run. The attempts to bludgeon her did not work. She was actually still fighting for her life. So there does need to be a correction for Wikipedia. He bludgeoned her with a wooden cutting board, but yet then suffocated her. Um, Police stated that they had found the meat tenderizer and the barbecue skewers on the scene. Trial date, he went to trial on February 29th of 2008. That was almost 20 years ago. So that was 17 years ago, to be exact. Almost 20 years ago, he went and was put on the death penalty. McLean County District Attorney Judge Bullock approved to recommend the death sentence. Underwood's attempt to appeal this sentence, stating that it was unconstitutionally cruel and unusual punishment due to his mental disability. If you were here yesterday, you would have seen that, according to his mental disability, he didn't seem like he really had one, other than maybe a personality disorder. I would not have said that he is your typical psychopath or sociopath or any of the sort. The way he's able to articulate was just beyond what you would normally see in a situation like that. He was very well spoken when it came to him being able to explain what he did and at what attempts he was doing it. Let's see. Let's move on. So it says that he was diagnosed with schizophrenia personality disorder at the trial, but then was just later diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. So there is a scheduled execution. Originally, his execution was scheduled for July 1st, 2022. Underwood was one of 25 death row inmates to be scheduled for that day, and it has been rescheduled for December 7th, 2023. And I will be present, boots on the ground, for his lethal injection execution. If anyone has any questions, please post them in chat. I will do my best to answer them. We went over what was found at the scene of the incident. If you need me to reiterate on what was found at the scene, I can also do that. He's a, I know. I agree. Get to know the way he's able to articulate his feelings. It's to me, it's just beyond how someone that would be claiming to, be mentally incapacitated. It just doesn't. It doesn't. He doesn't fit the mold, if that makes sense. Um, let me drop the StreamYard link. Paste. There you go. Let me go through the questions of chat before I get started on the video. Did you wash your hair? Yes, I did. I know. It's still wet. I just toned it. So I had to. Yeah. Anyways. Where are your glasses? I know. Can you see me squinting? I didn't bring them in with me. I don't have the right ones with me. I think they're in my. I know. I guess I could just wear these, huh? And then I'll look like a little old lady, you guys. I just can't see the monitor with these on. These are not like my trifocals. These are great for reading, though. And if I wanted to look like a cute little old lady. Okay. Among Us. That's the game. Among Us. Yes. I'd say play it. Not doing anyone a favor by not playing it. Okay. I can do that. Okay. You look different without your glasses. Oh, I know, you guys. I'm sorry. I just didn't bring them out with me. Why anyone would fantasize about doing that to anyone, let alone a child. I don't know, Opa. Like that was one of my missions, was to go back and like figure out why he was thinking the way he was, like what could have possibly happened in his past that would drive him to such an extreme way of thinking. I guess, is that what you would say? Like such an extreme. I don't even have the words to explain how I feel. Like I cannot even express, and I'm pretty good at articulating about how I feel about things. And I'm having a really hard time, like just coming up with the right words to say with one that I'm sounding weird and derogatory. Welcome in, get to know.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I hear a blinker.
Yep, I'm in the car.
What I was saying was I'm having a really, really hard time, like articulating, like where was his mindset and how did he get there? Is where we need to figure out to prevent it from happening again with other people. Like, where was he at, and why? What would caused that such an extreme way of doing things, wanting to go that far?
I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I don't know. I think that if we ever understand what makes one of these people tick like this, I think we would in turn have to be that way because that's the only way we could understand something like that. Like there's only certain people that understood Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy, you know what I mean? Like really understood him, and those were other serial killers like them, you know what I mean? I have to be like him, and I just don't. I don't know.
Well, that's a good question.
I just don't know. I mean, I'd like to know what makes them tick too, but and I just think that in order for us to be able to fully understand what they go through or what makes them do what they do, and then we'd have to be able to understand them because we'd be on their level. That's the only way I think. But
Like the
I
only
don't know.
one I can think of, the only one I can think of is like, like the Hannibal Lecter movie. Because it actually started off with cannibalism. It didn't start off with just hurting somebody. It started off with cannibalism, like his fantasies of eating people.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? So to
yeah,
me, that's on a whole different freaking level of what the F.
yeah, for real.
That's where I guess that's why I'm stuck in what would drive someone to want to eat someone else. Are they missing something in their diet?
Maybe they
We
need some
eat
more
soap,
fiber or
we eat
something.
dirt. I don't think humans are that much fiber. We're
Oh,
mostly
you never
protein,
know.
fats, and iron. Just saying.
I don't know with all these people that eat these like soy burgers and all these this tree bark hamburgers, and it's like I don't know. I'm just saying.
Tree burger.
Yeah, like those full on like those full on naturists, are like they only eat like oats and like tree stuff, like because it
Oh,
tastes like
like
you're no matter what
Californians.
no matter what you pour in, no matter what you pour in, it feels like you're just chewing on cardboard.
100% gloating about it. You're correct. Good to know. I'm almost shocked the lawyer didn't say it was movies making him think that way. Yeah, I could agree with that. I could agree with that thought. So I've pulled up a page also. It says, "What ifs and whys Kevin Underwood's former friends react in cyberspace." Oklahoma Crime Library. He struck her with a wooden cutting board and then he placed his hand and a piece of duct tape over her mouth and nose. Court papers filed to district attorney. Okay. Uh, Caused the little girl to then languish and die. So he didn't bludgeon her to death like Wikipedia states. He did not. Matter of fact, where's my pen? Here it is. He did not. That is an error in there. He attempted to. But he actually suffocated her to death, is actually what happened. And from what my understanding is, if I go and get the court minutes, which I'll have the court minutes probably within a couple of days of the execution, and we can go through those also if you guys would like. The court minutes are basically court transcripts, so we can go through exactly what was said during trial, and that if that is something that you guys are interested in, please let me know. Because I will pick them up
Yeah,
and then we can go through them for the next couple of days before execution. Okay, so it says Kevin Underwood would sometimes call himself subspecies 23 and psychomind on the internet, stands accused at the age of 26. So he did this at a very young age. That's what I was saying. He did this at 26 years old. It wasn't like he was 45. He's now like 45 or so. No, 27, 37. He's almost 47, 47, 46, 45, 44. So he's like 44 years old right now. Um,
he'll be 40. He'll
yeah.
be 44 in he'll be 44 in December.
Okay, so he's 43. He won't make it to 44 because his execution is before then. Unless they file documentation that it will be changed I
just
do
to
have
give a
the
state
entire
execution.
file. Yeah. If if something is filed and they postpone it, it would be it would literally have to be within 2 weeks of the execution, for time of service. I believe service has to be done within 2 weeks for someone that lived there. So, and he's incarcerated. So it would have to be within a week to 2 weeks, and it's only less than 2 weeks away from date of execution. So I do not believe that the date is going to change for the date of execution.
His birthday's the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember, if that's what you said. I'm pretty sure that's what you said last night.
19th,
Or 19th.
December
Okay.
19th, 1979. Yeah, 43. He'll be, yeah, he'll be 44 this year,
Yep, he would
December
be
19th.
40. Yep.
And he's supposed to be executed on December 6th. So it would be like 10 days before his birthday.
Happy birthday to him. Happy birthday to him.
I shouldn't be smiling. It's not that,
Hey,
you guys don't get me wrong, I'm not psycho. I'm not smiling because I'm happy that someone's dying. I'm smiling because I know that there will be finally this release and like justice for the family that is like, why is he still alive? Because they didn't want him alive. They wanted him unalived a long time ago for this. So for them, this is more for them. And, Godspeed that they're able to heal even faster. It's been almost 20 years. This is going to be a huge release for them. So what else? Stands accused at age of 26 of the murder of 10-year-old Jamie Rose Boland. The affidavit filed by the DA on the 17th related to detached language how agents from the Federal Bureau of Investigations discovered the little girl's body in Underwood's apartment on North 8th Street in Purcell, Oklahoma. Let's see, FBI agent Craig Overby stated that he asked Mr. Underwood if they could look in his apartment to ensure Mrs. Boland was not in the apartment. Agent Overby stated that Mr. Underwood gave consent to the search the apartment. Agent Overby, I read all of this yesterday. Let's see what else. Yeah. Oh, next page. There is a next page. Okay, let's see. A former friend of Kevin's named Alicia posted to the blog attached to her personal profile at a popular social networking site on April 16th, 2006. Her reaction to Underwood's arrest and resulting media circus was intense, Alicia wrote. The reports are saying that there are several other targets. I am so afraid that I was one of those targets. It's so scary, but today, so far, I'm doing all right. I'm level-headed and I haven't cried and I'm feeling all right. But who's to really tell? I could have broken down in the middle of the day. I can't count how many times over the past years that I have been over to his house and hang out and to go to the movies or to go get drunk and pass out on his couch. He could have killed me at any of those times. Can you imagine? If you were one of his friends that used to go over to his house and hang out. Did I lose you? Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Get to know. Just one moment, guys. Let me check to see if I think we lost get to know, but let me make sure. Get to know's always abandoning me. That little weasel. Okay. No, that was him that dropped. Okay. So she's like, I can't count how many times over the past few years that I have been over to his house to hang out, etc., etc. It makes me sick to my stomach. Everything that I've read, news articles, press releases, press conference releases, he told everyone what he was going to do. They gave a list of things that he was going to use. Friday's press conference made me sick to my stomach, and I had physically got sick. I just read the transcripts of Saturday. If I would have seen it, it would have been over for me. Leave me alone. This is all I have to say about it. Another friend of Underwood's mentioned off and on in his main weblog was Melissa, using the same networking site. She also posted about the case on April 16th. Stop leaving me messages about that vile, disgusting so called friend. Yes, I happen to be on his friends list. Check mine. Is he there? No. I deleted him after what I saw last night on the television. This is so scary and shocking enough as it is, but never in my life have I ever suspected my so called friend would do something so horrendous. Well, guess what? Now I know. Please leave the negative comments to yourself. I now am aware of what he did, and I have no interest in thinking otherwise, especially after what I saw in the news. Mind you, I live in California and the news got to me rather late. Again, please quit harassing me. I'm having a hard time. You know, if I'm a friend and of my friend who's a psychopath until unfortunately after the fact. So like basically like we don't know. We don't know. We can't relate. I know quite a few of you have been in this position where we have made friends and acquaintances with those on YouTube. And it comes to find out that they may have kind of a shady past. You cannot blame us for not knowing about their shady past beforehand. Now, if you were to make friends with those people after fact, then people could probably question you. But if you were unaware of it before then, they can't question you. Just saying. Um, One unfortunate aspect of crimes and the strong internet element is how they're connected somehow to the suspect can be connected to the suspect and can be harassed by web surfers who seem to have some need to tell someone how awful someone and everything associated with that accused must surely be. Exactly. Like they're totally like trying to blame her or make accusations towards her. They actually took all of her electronic devices because he was one of the last women that he was speaking with regularly. And so they took like her hard drive and all of that stuff and did like inspections on it. So I could truly understand how much this is really bothering her because this is like all up in her business. Like they are all up in her business. So I'm just forewarning you guys. If you are associated with someone who has committed a crime like this, and we'll go through it and you'll understand more. So for instance, we'll use some stranger as an example, um, who's committed a horrendous crime, and I happen to know them. And I happen to frequently talk with them. Law enforcement's gonna come to me and be like, "Has he said anything to you? Like, what is in your guys's, like, electronic transmissions between each other?" And, just to see, like, where his mindset it is in the long run, like the whole scheme of things type of situation. So I can understand, like, how this woman, Melissa, feels. I brought her up yesterday because her whole life was turned upside down by this. That's creepy. Like, we may not even know this person, I haven't talked to him for a while, and, next thing you know, our stuff is being gone through. One unfortunate aspect of crimes with stronger internet elements is those connected somehow to the suspect and can be harassed by web surfers. Okay, writing in a separate web blog unearthed by crime blogger Shadow Rifts, Alicia posted an entry the day before her April 16th blog entry that was perhaps even more emotional. She titled it, "Please, I'm begging you." she said. I haven't been able to sleep since I found out. My mind has been racing with the what ifs and whys. I never could have imagined all of this happening, not in my safe little hometown of Purcell, not somebody I knew. If you want, you can remove me from your friends list. I don't care. Just please leave me alone. Let's see. Who's next? In blogosphere, in general reactions to the story of the murder in Purcell, Oklahoma seemed polarized. One segment of bloggers were neutrally or naturally intrigued and troubled by Underwood having left so much writing on the web, because that's exactly what he did. Is this is this is exactly where I wanted to go, was to know and understand and learn where his mindset was and what drove him to such an extreme, horrendous crime. And he used to blog everything. He would blog about his bad day, about the kids playing, about what he wanted to do to them. He hung out in blogs, I believe, that were also a little more on the dark side. And chat, I'm so sorry if I'm not able to keep up with you guys. I think that would be interesting to hear onwards. Yeah, I do too. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so let's see. Okay, many of them pored over Underwood's writings deep in the night, losing sleep and perhaps a sense of reality as Kevin Underwood's view of existence wormed its way into their thoughts. Anonymous crime blogger, Optimist, who would Optimist, who archived a great deal of Underwood's more difficult to access writings, said the following in an entry written on April 18th in response to the negative comments about her coverings Underwood's online presence. So I'm not sure who Optimist is, and I'm not sure why she would go and cover up all of his like online presence. What was she attempting to hide something from us? Like, she must have known that there was something fairly fishy going on. You're out there, you have been snipping and sending messages. Let's talk. I have received only anonymous snips in the dark. Hold on. Woo. We don't want me that big. That would be icky. Now, wouldn't it? There. You're out there. You have been snipping and sending messages, so let's talk. I've received only anonymous snips in the dark. People know who do crime blogging, have broken down and need a break with this case. You have sent funny messages trying to relieve the pressure. Each is appreciated. Hmm. Underwood's blogging showed a troubled, moody young man, but it was easy to read more than his words knowing. He was in the McLean County Jail, accused of Jamie Boland's murder. Even an entry that might once amuse was disturbing in retrospect. Kevin Underwood wrote the following on December 7th, 2002. About 10 minutes ago, I was standing in the kitchen holding a banana like a gun and saying in a strange accent, "You will feel the wrath of my space banana." It was fun. There was no one else around. There was not much like to it, to the point, and no point in it. But I did it anyway. I'm always doing things like that. Then I cut open the banana and made a peanut butter and banana sandwich. One of my favorites. So now I'm eating lunch consisting of a peanut butter and a banana sandwich with chili cheese flavored Fritos, and I'm writing about it. Isn't that my life? Isn't my life grand? I bet you wish. I bet you wish you could be just like me. Not really. Kaylee, you're welcome to come up, hon, if you like. Thank you. I tagged it for you. Thanks. Okay, where was I? We're talking about Fritos. For I am the most powerful and important being in the universe. The fact that I, the fact, while I was this to support, I am this important, powerful being, I choose to squander all of it away on such trivial pursuits as writing about a sandwich. Just proves how far above you I really am. My ways are indestructible. Thank you, Kaylee. Oh, a million other young men could have written a blog entry such as this, and their friends would have laughed, getting the joke. Kevin Underwood's arrest for a planned campaign of murder and cannibalism threw everything he'd ever said to his friends like Alicia and Melissa or writing online into a new terrible light. Some devoted to weblogging in the viewing pursuit in positive light, where they were deeply upset not just by Underwood's presence online, but by the fact that the followers and bloggers felt constrained to explore it, and that the media had made a connection as well. Blogging Andy Carvin posted an entry at www.andycarvin.com on April 16th, 2006, titled Another Murder, Another Blogger. How will media react? Carvin's opinion. It's probably only a matter of time before the media begins talking about Kevin Underwood as the murderer blogger rather than just a murderer. The fact of that it is possible for anyone with an internet access to delve into the accused killer's mind would no doubt serve as a fodder for Nancy Grace's and Larry King's of the world. I'm concerned, though, these portrayals will link his blogging habits and obsessive internet use to this horrific crime, somehow suggesting that blogging too much can drive any young person into being a psychopath behavior. While it's true that the previous killers, such as Eric Harris, Jeff Wise, have been active in online publishing, this doesn't mean that any other killers weren't writing things down before the birth of the web of 2.0. While Wesley Allen Dodd and David Barkowitz to the Unabomber killer of any kept meticulous, sorry guys, records of their thoughts, fantasies, and actions, yet no one ever makes the claim to keeping a journal somehow increases the likeliness of becoming a psychopath. Now, I don't think that us blogging or, things like this on YouTube would say drive us to psychopathic behavior. I mean, unless you're just coming on here to vent about your problems and issues, and then probably should see a therapist and not really be telling the whole world. Um, and I believe I've told many people that too. Perhaps people who share Andy Carvin's views will adopt the variation of the National Rifles Association old slogan and declare the blogging doesn't kill people, people kill people. It's kind of like, guns don't kill people kill people. Neither Carvin's view nor any suggestions, such as those he worried about in the media, would even begin to approach the reality of Kevin Underwood. Blogging and posting to message boards, online gameplay, great, they're going to say video games do it too now, are all incidental, relatively unimportant when measured against the horrific crime Underwood is accused of committing. Underwood's writing will certainly play a part in trying to understand such an intelligent yet outwardly unremarkable individual can end up in jail, having admitted to the federal agents that he murdered and chopped up a little girl. But the core of the fascination many have with crimes such as this is the basic inability to understand why they happen. That's exactly why I'm here. Because I want to know why. I want to know what was making him tick. No amount of blogging by the alleged killer will ever fully explain planned rape, murder, or cannibalism. In 1969, San Francisco Bay Area math teacher Donald Hardin, along with his wife, labored over the weekend to decrypt supposedly impenetrable Cypher sent San Francisco media about the Zodiac killer, a serial killer who remains a mystery to this day. Hardin did what code-breaking work he could for the federal government and what the federal government couldn't do, and broke the code for the Zodiac. Three-part cipher. He and his wife accomplished what was triumph from an armchair sleuth, and everyone's heart and spirit lives on to this day, the blog sphere. And people who find themselves drawn to study the words left online by the likes of Joseph Edward Duncan III, the Fifth Nail, and Kevin Ray Underwood. The issues raised if someone is arrested for crimes like those Underwood is accused of committing are far from important in questioning the way one uses their time on the internet. The story of the murder of Jamie Rose Boland brings up questions about the nature of insanity and to the spiritual incline and nature of evil. Where does the human depravity, possible born in some sort of illness, end and the evil begin? Ooh, Joseph Edward Duncan the third is scary looking dude. The internet has undoubtedly changed the way the public learns about high profile crimes. The change began with websites popping up a decade ago to discuss and still unsolved murders of Jean Bonnet Ramsey. Weblogging has sped up the spread of news about some crimes and criminals. It may have also changed the way the mainstream media chooses to focus certain stories. A blogger can have details about crimes posted online for hours in advance of the mainstream media and news media. A story about the same event by a reporter must pass muster. Yeah, they're only allowed to like really discuss things that they're allowed to discuss. Like we here on YouTube can talk about more things than what mainstream media can. A story about the same event reporter. Okay, I already read that. In newsroom, edited and inspected by libelous language, and finally sent to the web editor. Many media outlets have even begun to acknowledge bloggers who get out the story first and embrace them as a part of news gathering process. The downside is working alone and with only their wits. Sometimes bloggers get it wrong, and innocent people could be harassed right off the web, which we've all heard of and discussed many a times. I hope everyone is doing well in chat. Opa, Kaylee, it's good to see you. Oh, oops. Sorry, I had to zoom in chat so I could see it a little better. Listen to half of the craziness on YouTube and everyone would go to jail. No doubt. No doubt. Okay. I'm not sure where I was at. Sorry, I lost my spot. Mm. Okay. Bloggers get it wrong, and innocent people could be harassed right off the web. Or as with former friends of Kevin Underwood and crime bloggers documenting online details about Jamie Rose Boland's alleged killer somehow made to feel guilty by association. And that's true. That's something that I think that we have all discussed in this media world is be careful about who you're accusing of doing certain crimes, because we have a tendency to say, well, all of the arrows are pointing at this person, and then you deep dive this person and you end up doxing this person, and this person is like, whoa, I didn't have anything to do with it. And in hindsight, they get hurt and families could get hurt. That's why I kind of choose not to, I guess. Okay. I mean, I don't mind doing it at home, but I would never put it on the internet. Okay, add to stage. Hopefully I didn't drop. I just froze. I do believe. Okay. You know, if Inky could just get something right the first time, everything would be great. Okay. So that was like what was inside of the minds of the two ladies that were really close with him, and, some other people giving their personal opinions on the situation. I will continue this video. We will stop, go back, analyze what was said, how our feelings are about it. Anybody is welcome to come up and join me if they like. If not, you can stay down and chat and watch the show.
Finally, was pretty sure she was dead. Flopped her over, and then about 30 seconds later, she took a breath. So I had to jump on her and do it again. It took probably several more, it probably wasn't as long as it seemed like, but it seemed like it took her another 5 minutes to get her limp. Then finally, when I was pretty sure she was dead again, I jumped up and grabbed the duct tape and put it over her mouth and nose, because I was getting tired. My arms were getting sore from clamping down on her for so long.
So he's complaining about how much of a fight she put in towards not dying. Like, this little girl really fought for her life. Oops. Sorry. There.
Still want her live. That way you wouldn't have to hold her anymore.
Yeah.
You can ensure it's gone.
Yeah, just make sure she didn't start breathing again this time.
Okay.
And then, once I got her taped up, I drug her into the bedroom so I could open the front door and wheel her bike in. So,
Where do you put her when you put her in bed?
just there in the floor, like between the computer desk and the bed, I just wheeled her kind of right through the door, far enough that I could close the door so I could open the front door without anyone seeing.
Do you remember any of your neighbors seeing you talking to her that day right before she went to the apartment?
Unless they were looking out the peephole or anything, I don't think any of the neighbors had ever seen her talk to me at all. But, and, that was one of the things I was always so nervous about is, the apartment right across from me, they had a door with a peephole, and I'm, whilst they were looking out the peephole as I grabbed the kid, something like that.
So anyway, you took her back in there, then you went outside and did you get the bike?
Yeah, I got the bike, wheeled it in. First, I stuck it in the big walk-in closet just to get out of the way. My head's so low to the ground, I wouldn't have went out of bed until I removed the pedals and everything. That was the main, what I thought, all along was like.
So during this time in this process, like the whole time that he committed this crime, he had actually left her bike sitting outside. And I guess there was a delayed reaction of him remembering that it was out there, that he had to go get it. Like, nobody saw this bike?
The main flaw in my plan, because with my plan to eat her and everything, it seemed like the bike was going to be a lot harder to dispose of than the bike.
So you'd give us a call about, hey, I gotta get rid of this bike.
Yeah. And then I never, like I said, I never actually had sex with her, but after I got her bike in, she was laying there in the bedroom, and I stripped her clothes off of her.
Where'd you put the clothes after you took them off?
I will remind you, this is trigger warning, because he's going to discuss the act. Trigger warning.
But at that time, I just threw them to the floor, and they were all wet and smelling. She'd wet herself when I was choking her. But I took her clothes off and licked her nipples a little, and kind of smelled her vagina, and I kind of got the tip of my penis in her. But that was it, because I was going to try to have sex with her right there. But
When you say him, her, can you describe what body part that would be?
Her vagina. I mean, I didn't even, like I said, I just kind of, well, I was going to, but the way she was laying right on the floor, I couldn't really get to her very good. So I just kind of tapping my penis, kind of around her vagina a little bit. It might have, as far as like DNA goes, there might be some of that pre-ejaculate on her. But
You take all your clothes off.
yeah, like as soon as I got the bike in, I stripped myself down, then stripped her down, and was going to have sex with her, and found out I couldn't, so I was going to move her. Into the living room onto the couch, where I had like a big beach towel.
I have to agree with you, Opa. He has zero remorse. Zero. None. He's very clear thinking. He's articulating just fine. He basically, like B said yesterday, like he is setting the stage for him being able to plead insanity. But at this point, at this juncture, he is articulating very clearly, extremely clearly.
That's in the
What were you thinking about? Hair,
like
nails, and their nails. Yeah.
pretty much.
In
I
advance.
was going to drag her in there. She, Hager said she's like 110 pounds. And I was having a hard time, flopping her over and rolling her around and dragging her around. So I decided just at that point, because that was the reason I'd always wanted to. My plan had always been to behead them while.
So he's kind of stating it size in his mind. Maybe he's thinking maybe she's kind of adult sized. She's big for her age, he said.
They were alive was, so the blood would coagulate and I could get all the blood out, like you would when you butcher an animal. And that way, so both of the meat wouldn't be bloody. And so when I put her in my bed, hopefully she wouldn't leak any blood out over the bed and stuff. And so I was like, well, it's a lot closer, and I don't want, she's already been dead maybe 10, 15 minutes. And so I don't want the blood to get all coagulated, so I'm just going to go ahead and
I
drag
wouldn't
her in
either.
the tub and behead her and then have sex with her body. And I got her in there, draped over the side of the tub, which, I thought I was stronger than that. I could barely get her up on that tub. And got a big knife.
If any of you have seen him like walking, he's not a little guy. This is not a little guy. This is a big guy. He's decently sized.
It's it wasn't a butcher knife. It's one of the knives in my collections. Well, it's the only knife in my collection, really. It's this big, ornate, like dagger. And it always seemed like it was pretty sharp, so that's what I was going to use. And I got her in there and propped her over the tub, she was out of the tub with, just like her head, over the edge, hanging into the tub. And I, kind of got there. I put a rubber band in her hair so it would be out of the way. And because I didn't even want to, like I said, I wanted the body perfect and clean. I didn't want to get blood all in her hair, so I'd have to wash it and everything. And so I started sawing at her neck. I couldn't believe the amount of blood that came out of a girl that small. And it was already all clotted and everything.
Was it going down the drain of your tub?
I had a bowl, a big, white bowl. It's in the kitchen on top of the microwave. I was going to try to collect, a lot of the blood in that, probably taste of it. And
Again, trigger warning. I'm sorry.
But then when it started coming out, it was, pretty much hard to get to go where I wanted it. And like I said, it was already all dark and clotted and gross looking anyway. And so, most of it was just going down the tub. I had the water running, and it still almost clogged the drain. It was so clotted already. And
Did you ever pour any Drano down the tub?
I didn't have any Drano. I was going to go out and buy some, but all I had was I poured like some other cleansers, some toilet bowl cleanser and stuff down there to help hopefully break it up a little bit. Because I was afraid it might back the pipes up or something, and back up into other people's apartment or something. And, they'd know something was going on.
He is really thinking this through as far as like, oh my gosh, I can't use he was scared to use like Drano or something that it would back it up maybe into the neighbor's sink or tub. So again, this tells me that he's not insane. He's actually thinking all of this through.
home, and then they find her missing and know that someone in the
Very
apartment
clear-headed.
complex killed her.
So you had trouble sawing her head off.
Yeah, that's what, I was trying to remember where I was. Yeah, I went, got, I guess, to her spine, and I just sobbed and could not get it at last. And I was pretty much exhausted by it. And like I said, as soon as I hit her, I wished I hadn't started this, but, as soon as I hit her the first time, I was like, well, now it's too late. I'm going to stop now. Yeah. I mean, that was the only reason I even went through with any of it. And then I said, I was.
He said exactly, Opa, very, very clear-headed. He did state that once he started, he wished he wouldn't have started because now he had to finish it.
Discussed it at first, and then once I was climbing down on top of her, holding her down, choking her, I got aroused. But so at this point, I was just disgusted. I was like, God, this mess. And because I couldn't even keep the blood in the tub, it was running down her and right down the side of the tub into the floor. And I was like, at this point, I'm just clean up this mess and get the body out of here. I'm not even going to have sex with her. Because I was already pretty upset. I can't believe I did this. Wish I hadn't did it. Wish I could take it back.
Right.
And
so at that point, did you start thinking of coming up with a plan that I won't get caught?
yeah, I had to change all my plans since I was going to be a body. And
were you thinking about how am I going to dispose of the body and how am I going to dispose of the bicycle?
yeah, I had bought that big Rubbermaid container she's in. I had bought that specifically for this too, but not
Can
for
you
this.
describe that for us, since we don't have a picture of it here?
It was just a big, I think it was like a 50-liter, big gray, Rubbermaid container, like storage container with a.
Yes, Opa, very pre-planned, very organized. And I believe I was bringing that up yesterday. So there is 3 types of people who commit crimes like this. Ugh.
Lid on it.
Where did you buy it?
It's been weeks, probably
Walmart?
3 or 4 weeks, from the Walmart Supercenter in Norman.
Did you, and you bought it for the purpose of your plan?
I bought it for the purpose of, because like I said, I wanted to keep the body around for a couple of days, but I wanted to still be able to eat it when I was done, so I didn't want it to go bad. I wanted to get an ice chest, but they didn't really have any ice chests big enough to put a kid in that weren't like really expensive. So I just was like, well, I'll get a big container like this. It seals fairly well, and just keep a bunch of bags of ice in there.
Did you keep your receipts from when you bought that stuff?
No,
Did you pay cash?
I pay cash most of the time. Sometimes I use credit card. That particular time, I might have used a credit card, but I don't know. And I don't usually keep my receipts. Occasionally, I'll throw them down on the table when I get home, and I don't clean very often, so some of them might still be there, but I can't say whether or not that one is.
So,
Opa, did you just say, please, oh my God, don't return the tub? That means you're listening to what he's
at this
saying.
point, you decide you're going to put her in the tub?
That container, I was doing like,
I call it tub, I'm
it
sorry.
was, the plan, the plan all along for disposing of the bones was to use that duffel bag thing, but I was hoping I could still get the body in there, but I got her and realized, well, no, she's way too big for this. And I liked to never even got her in that tub because
Was the double bag, was it bought for this plan too?
I'd had the duffel bag for several years.
I'm sorry, bro.
But anyway, and when I said from about 4 to I was probably more like 5 to 6:30. I was on the line talking to that girl in California while the half beheaded corpse was sitting there and sitting up propped against the tub draining because.
Was in your mind that I
Opa. Did he say what I think he just said? I may have missed that the first time that he was hanging out talking on the phone to Melissa in California while the body is draining. Did he just say that? Is that what he just said? I'm not rewinding it. Like he's like it's not. Oh. Okay, let's just take a break for a minute. Say you meet somebody online. You're like, "Hey Bob, how are you doing?" Bob's doing good. "Yeah, how are you doing, Inky? I'm doing great." While there is a body in his bathroom, deheaded, draining all of its blood. Makes you really, really, really think about like who we know, who we don't know. And I mean, this guy looks like perfectly normal. He looks like he could have been an attorney at some point, like now, like he's well dressed and looks like a nice guy. Like it's blowing me away. Just
set up an alibi for where I was. Because
he doesn't
seem
even
to
look
say
that
when we were talking
creepy
to
in
you, like,
his
hey,
little
she can vouch
mugshot.
for me, you know, but
No, I came up with that after. I mean, I was just genuinely.
Wait, I thought he said that she was on the couch no, he had stuck her in the tub. I am not rewinding it, Opa. I can't handle it. I'm pretty sure that he just said her body was hanging over the tub draining while he was on the couch talking on the phone to that girl, Melissa from California. He was on the couch talking on the phone. Yeah.
I decided that so I went to try to get rid of the body, but they was still bleeding too much, and some of the contents were pouring out of the neck, and so I was like, well, I'm going to let it sit here for a few hours and coagulate some more, so maybe I can move it without it bleeding everywhere so much. So I just kind of went about my business with this. I closed the door because the bathroom, because like I said, I was sick, sick to my stomach that I'm doing this. I didn't even want to see the corpse, and I just kind of closed it up in the back.
He's sick to his stomach that he's doing this, but yet he's doing it. This must be where the remorse part kicks in?
Bathroom with some incense burning to cover up the vomit smell from going up the air vent because I
vomit where she was coming out.
Yeah, some of the contents were leaking out of her neck when I tried to move her because I can often smell things coming from other people's apartments when they're cooking something strong, and I didn't want people to smell the blood and vomit, so I put some strong incense burning in there and closed all the doors, and I just sat there at the computer for a couple of hours, talking to her. I wasn't talking much because I was feeling really sick and really bad. I mean, I was literally physically sick, partially from what I did, and partially I was wore out and sweating and hot from the exertion. And I don't do well in warm temperatures. It's just sitting there in that. That was part of what was making me sick, sitting back there in that office because it was even in here it's too hot for me. It feels pretty good in here, but I grew up in a house. My parents kept it like 70 degrees pretty much all the time in the house. Anything over 70 degrees, I start to get hot. But so I was, just.
Has anyone else noticed like his tone during this whole thing has not changed much? Like just his whole demeanor, his tone, everything is just like he's sitting talking about a vacation. I mean, without even that type of excitement. It's just kind of monotone. This is how my day went. Like, sorry, my tummy's upset.
Sick to my stomach about the vomit. And
We're almost
so
done, you guys.
I was sitting there at the computer talking to her until.
We only have
Well, then about that same time, I was talking to her, but I was also occasionally stepping outside, helping them look for the girl, stuff like that, kind of.
He's out there with law enforcement, helping law enforcement and the parents look for the baby that he has draped over his tub with a half cut off head. A strong smell of iron in the house. Yeah.
Setting it up an alibi there. And actually, I was all concerned about her missing.
When did you first notice they were looking for
Pretty much right after I killed her, I looked out and I noticed the dad got home a little early. It seemed like he was home before 5, I think. And it was probably about 5 or so. I noticed him out there. Started to walk around and get in his truck and drive around. And then, I went out there one of the times specifically so he could ask me, "Have you seen her?" And I could say no. And so he did. And I was like, I told him, the story. The last time I saw her coming home from school. She went upstairs, came back down, got on her bike, rode off. That's the last time I saw her. And then, like I said, I was stepping out there occasionally, acting, like I was keeping a watch for her in case she came back while Dad was gone, and talking to the manager and all that stuff. And, I hope they find her soon. It's horrible. Just kind of setting up and making myself look concerned. But not too concerned, because then that would make me look suspicious too. So.
This dude is smart. He just got done saying, like, I wanted to help them look for the little girl, but I wanted to look concerned, but not too concerned, because then it would make him look suspicious. And yes, Opa, I read that. It says the guy that kidnapped the girls for 10 years did the same thing and looked for the missing girls. Wow. I don't know how he was even walking around. I can't even do the sight of blood. That's why I never made it through med school. I get deathly sick. I don't like the smell of iron either. Ugh. I don't even like being on the menses.
And then finally, about 8 o'clock or so, I told him, I'd like to stay out here and help, but I've got to get back to bed because I got to, work early in the morning.
What are you going to do with the body?
And then, I went inside and finally finished cleaning up the body, and it's still white everywhere, and I had to wash the tub out and wash the floor, scrub the floor.
when you get the body in the tub? Do you have to cut limbs off, or
She's not cut up at all except for the neck.
so you just basically compacted her body?
Yeah, and by that time, that was the reason I had such a hard time getting her into that. It's because by that time she was already stiff, and she had been in like a kneeling position on the tub, so her legs were like all bent up like this. And I couldn't get her knees to go down far enough to get the lid on. That was the main reason it was taped on at first, because it wouldn't go down far enough to snap on. So I snapped it on and taped it down so it stays snapped on. And then yesterday I went in there and taped it more to seal it, in case it started smelling. Smells wouldn't get out. Smell out.
The clothes that you were wearing during all this, did you put those in the box with it?
No, I still wore them the next day, even though
So I didn't get much blood.
I didn't. Well, every time I get one, I wore them when I was choking her. But then, when I was cleaning up the messes and cut her head off and everything, I took my clothes back off.
So you were
Except for a
okay.
pair of underwear, a pair of gray underwear, which I think I stuck back in my underwear drawer. I didn't get anything on them either.
So it was just in the tub. It's just her body and the clothes she was wearing.
Her body,
The tub being the blue.
Yeah, the blue.
I call it tub.
Yeah, but
Could be different from the bathtub, but you're talking about the.
I tried to move her, but she was still making a huge mess. So I got a tarp I had also bought for this purpose, but
I know that.
about the same time I bought the tub, the container. I bought it at the local Walmart, I think.
The smell of death stays. What Did he think Febreze was going to help? Seriously? I know. I know, Opa. But that's what they said when they went into his house, was that it smelled like cleaners, Febreze. Um, like they could tell that he just cleaned, and and the smell of incense was really, really, really strong. And yes, he's blaming her for the mess. No doubt. No doubt. Like it's her fault.
Okay.
But, what was I saying?
So that tarp's in there
4
too.
minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in a, so I went to move her and she was bleeding everywhere. So I bought the tarp for the purpose of not getting blood because I was going to have sex with him on the couch, but when I went to torture him and stuff, I was probably going to put him on the floor of the tarp because there'd probably be some blood. And so I bought it for that. But then when I went to move her, I was like, I can't even move her. She's so heavy. So I'm going to try to flop her over onto this tarp, and maybe I can slide the tarp around a little better and wrap her up in that. So I kind of laid her on the tarp and folded it over a little, and then got her in some trash bags as good as I could.
And when I opened it up, I saw the blue shirt. Did you just like put her clothes folded on top of all that stuff?
Afterwards, I put that red towels on the bottom of the tub to soak up any blood or anything. Because at first I figured I'd just dump the body somewhere, wash the tub out, and bring it back. Then at the end, I was like, no, I don't even want to open the tub and look at this body again. I'm just going to drag the tub out to a field and set it on fire. Because I've been part of the plan all along. If somehow I wasn't able to eat them and there was a body left over, because here until just a week or two ago, we were having like a really bad drought. And, the fires were just breaking out all over. So I was just going to drag her out to a field and set it on fire.
And you have a big fire.
Fire had burned most of the remains and kind of destroyed any like hairs and DNA evidence I left in the field, hopefully. I'm tired and sick again, but
He is way too thought out.
Finally got her into the tub, but couldn't get her knees in there. I finally was able to maneuver a little in there. I could get the lid at least halfway on, and I taped it down.
Okay. You don't take the seal.
Yeah, and then I did that yesterday. Quickly sealed it.
And when'd you take the biker for?
Wasn't the same night. I think I did that the same night, Wednesday night. And then I was going to go home tonight because even that frame that was left over that I couldn't take apart was, I think, still going to be too big for the duffel bag. So I'm going to try to use a hacksaw to cut it up a little bit tonight.
This does not sound like someone who is a sociopath at all.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't have to go anywhere to borrow any tools or anything.
No, very much. Parents got me a box of tools for my 18th birthday.
Okay, you just have those in the house.
Yeah.
Kevin, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just nauseous again.
Okay,
Exhausted.
Take a break for a second.
Yeah, I guess.
Let's take a breather for just a second.
In one of the videos that I watched, he started projectile vomiting. So
I stink.
Just like in the shower.
Yeah. I got him to let me wash my hands and face a little right before they brought me in here.
We're saying we've been up since about 7 this morning. We've been going all day and out in the sun. Yeah, so you're not. You okay, buddy?
Oh, we'll get somebody just checking for the check. I think we're done.
Go ahead. Check.
Have them bring somebody in.
B, welcome in, B. Okay, so we finally finished the video. That was the video in its entirety. I think they cut it off early because the last few minutes of it was just him projectile vomiting. I think that I originally was thinking that, it was his feeling of remorse and thinking about the mess and the smell. Plus, now he's remembering that he's still wearing the same clothes from that day. And so, like, there's still the smell of everything that was going on still on him. Blech. I can take the trigger warning down now. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. B, you're welcome to come up. Here, I'll drop the StreamYard link. Teeth and nails. Yeah, he was blaming her for the meth, teeth and nails. Yes, and he was thinking through the entirety of it. Like so that is now the second time that I have watched the entire video. I watched a different version of it just on through a different website. Um, and there was things that I missed, like certain little things that he said that I was like, whoa, I didn't know that he really said that. From how I feel about the situation, he's able to speak way too clearly for him to claim insanity. And I'm very pleased with the judge's decisions on this case. Why isn't my stapler working? There we go. My stapler wasn't working. Oh, no, you're not. You better get up here with me, B. COD and shopping and in here. Uh-huh. Right. Okay, and see, this is why they can't have guns in the interview room. I think that he would not be still sitting there. Mm-hmm. I agree 1,000%. And mind you, law enforcement, they still have to go through, like, they still have to go through like counseling and therapy every so many months, or like once a month, or like once a week, or something like that. Depends on, their mental status. But because of all the traumas and things that they deal with on a daily basis, they still have to be able to cope and express their feelings on things that they've had to deal with during the week. It would be very, very hard. When I was interviewing for the sheriff's department, one of the questions to me was, would you be able to treat a sexual violent criminal the same as a like car thief? They're the same level of felony, grand theft. It's still like, felony 1, 2, or 3. And I sat there and I thought about it, and I was like, I'm not sure, because you're required to treat them by the severity of what they've done, not necessarily what they've done, only by the number of the felony. You're not really allowed to judge them per the crime that they did you know what I'm trying to explain. So there was a lot of conflict within myself over that. I was like, I don't know. I don't know how I would feel, having to deal with something like that. Yeah. So Opa says, that is why yeah. Okay. I caught that one, Opa. B, get your booty in here, B. Okay. So he is a very organized criminal. He thought it through, but he did have regrets. So there's the acute offender, then you have a chronic offender, then you have a professional offender. And there's also a way to explain them in, like one is very, very organized, where another one is more of like that panic, like I was mentioning yesterday, is someone that does something more out of panic or passion, not necessarily planned. Where this guy, he was very planned, very diligent. I mean, down to the rolls of duct tape, having knives sporadically put throughout his home to have it readily accessible for whenever he needed it, depending on where the location was that the person would be in the house. Things like that. That to me, that is very, very, very planned out. He didn't necessarily plan that day. He took advantage of the fact that she just happened to come down to his house that day. So he wasn't necessarily ready for that, nor was he ready for her ability to try to maintain life as long as she did. She didn't, it wasn't like she uh she was very, very adamant about not being unalived. She tried her hardest to stay alive. It took him 3 times to asphyxiate her, and she fought for every last moment of it, and that was her God's will. And maybe, just maybe, you know, that has been sitting in his mind these last 17 years, you know, that he has had to think about the horrendous acts that he's done, and now he gets to be penalized for it. Sorry, I'm having a really hard time. I'm trying to get the images back out of my head at the moment. I'm normally pretty good at speaking, but not today. So, my ex was a cop, and so I understand the question. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Oh, so then you totally get it. Like they do. They ask you, like, are you able to treat one offender the same as another offender? And you have to be able to look at offenders all equal by their severity, not necessarily what they did. Now, I'm sure a lot of people lie like that, but me, I could not. I couldn't. I was like, I don't know if I could. I mean, I really had to um think about it, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I could or not. There, B, get your booty on. Okay, so I think we went over this yesterday. We'll go over this tomorrow. So I've made it through the first few sections today. We finished the video today. So then tomorrow we'll start on the actual case log, which will probably be, it'll be a lot less so in your face with the grotesqueness. You know, this is basically going to be, you know, all legal jargon. The first 2 days, the first day, well, tomorrow, the first set of documents is going to be the affidavit for the search warrant and the search warrant, which we did go over bits and pieces of it yesterday. And then we will move on to the motion for discovery. And a few more documents, because the stack, the document is, his case log is this thick. Like, it's like my hand thick. No, actually, it's bigger than my hand. It's like, yeah, it's like that many. It takes up like half of my drawer. So the icky doesn't bother me. Oh, see, I don't do icky. Inky doesn't do icky. So, and we will stay on top of this throughout the next, we're on 2 of 14. So we have 13, 12 days to execution. So we will be going through this case piece by piece until day of execution. So if B's not going to come up and no one's going to come join me, then I'm going to hop down And I will get all of my documents prepped and ready. So then you guys have a set and I have a set that I can read from. Because I think it would be easier that way. So you can actually see what documents I'm going through. And it'll be very interesting on how they handled it. And I think they did very well. It's not very often that I'm really, really pleased with the way law enforcement has handled the case. In this case, I think they have done an amazing job from what I've read through thus far. I have not read through every document yet, but thus far, I think that they have done well. They did an amazing job on the way they handled everything. And the case was also transferred from McCain County to Cavender County, Cleveland County, not Cavender, Cleveland. And why that is because I believe that McCain County did not have like the death sentence or something to that effect. Like maybe they didn't have the ability to do that there. So it had to be transferred to a larger county to be able to handle the case appropriately and with the proper investigators. It's odd. People ick doesn't, animal ick does. Oh, any kind of ick bothers me. I have a weak tummy though. I have a very weak tummy. You know, Opa, you said, your ex was a cop. I bet it was very hard to be an officer's wife because they deal with, and I don't think a lot of people understand that they do deal with a lot of trauma just from being at work and the things that they deal with on a daily basis and worry about their own personal safety. You never know what could happen. You never know. It's like being married to someone in the military, but a little bit more dangerous, like a lot. So I feel for those. Honestly do. Okay, you all, I'm going to step down. I love you all. Mwah. And I'll catch you guys on tomorrow, 6 p.m. If Get to Know goes live, then I will go on after Get to Know. So I will keep an eye on when he goes live tomorrow because, I'd rather us do them, back to back instead of on top of each other. So I will see you over at Get to Knows and then over here. Yes, ma'am. Mwah. I love you muches. You have fun. I haven't played all day. I'm telling you, there's a lot to go through. I mean, this is just these books are, hold on, let me flip this over. So they're all organized. Just this stack, okay? This is only through July of 2007. Sorry, December of 2007. That's it. It happened in April of 2006, and this is only through 2007, and we have through 2022. Yeah, I do need to clear my head from all this. So I will see you all tomorrow after Get to Know show. Opa, can you drop Get to Know's link for me in chat? So, when people come back to watch the show later, that they can still get his link and get your link. And anyone else that comes in. I'd appreciate it, hun. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy the outro. Thank you, love.